I've been reading where several states have already declared their sovereignty against actions that the federal government has taken. What would Missouri's stance be against actions covered where the federal government is trying to encroach upon our sovereignty? For instance, where they're trying to control the waters and the lands, along with this Obamacare, there has many ramifications to that.
I know a little bit about this topic. If the state of Missouri does not set up the insurance exchanges for Obamacare, then Obamacare cannot happen in Missouri. It won't. But it takes people who are brave and smart, because unfortunately the exchange bill passed unanimously in the Missouri House last year, and it could have passed the Senate if it hadn't been for a couple of brave senators who had the power of filibuster. We came within a whisker of getting Obamacare in Missouri. Now, I've been working with some of the smartest think tanks in the nation, and what they are telling me is if we refuse to set up those exchanges, what the exchange deal is, all the insurance companies go into a pot, and then the national government subsidizes their contributions so that they can offer a lower rate. If the national government is not subsidizing the insurance premiums, you already are seeing increases right now with no exchange. If there's no exchange, the insurance premiums absolutely will go higher. And even during the 8 years I was there, I saw the legislators vote on legislation that would make the premiums go higher yet. Knowing that, not caring, and this is with Republicans in control of House and Senate. So they're opportunists pretty much. They will do what the people, what's going to get them elected. And this is going to be a tough one, because if they're brave and strong, what will happen is the insurance companies will put pressure on the Congress to repeal Obamacare. And that's what it's going to have to take for Obamacare to be repealed, is for the insurance companies to say, we can't afford to do business. Somebody had better contain the costs. And that's the problem that was not addressed in the bill. So I know it's a very complex issue, and it's very hard to say in 2 minutes how it's going to work. But being brave and strong, and if a critical mass of states can do it, we can actually win this. What it's going to take, and where I get encouragement, is look at the maps of the United States on election night, and you'll see the majority of the states really are conservative.
I think your question went right to the heart of property rights. And the Constitution addresses that. The federal government cannot exercise authority over anything that they didn't purchase with the consent of the state legislature. Now, I've done a little research, and I can't find anywhere where the federal government purchased Mark Twain National Forest with the consent of the Missouri legislature. I can't find anything in my Constitution that says they purchased rainwater that falls from heaven into your pond. They don't own it. It's unconstitutional for them to say so, and they need to return it. Mark Twain National Forest should be Mark Twain State Forest, and it should be managed and run by the state of Missouri. Nevada is 78% claimed by the federal government. When Nevada became a state, all of the land within the borders of Nevada belonged to the state. And I would bet, and I'm not a betting man, but I would bet, if I were to research Nevada law, the legislature never said the federal government owned 78% of Nevada, 98% of Alaska. They're way out of bounds. All of that land needs to be returned to the states. It belongs to the states and the people.
Obamacare has already taken effect in the state of Missouri. I'm a veteran, and I belong to the VA hospital system. I know what it's been like for the last 40 years. In the last 3 months, they have taken our rights away at the Veterans Hospital. You cannot walk in with a service dog now, period, into the Veterans Hospital unless you're completely blind. And you have to have 3 endorsements in order to walk into that door. The other factor is that they've added 8 extra people per day per doctor. This is the new Obamacare, just like it is in Canada. And this is what you got to look forward to. When you're on TRICARE or VA care, you're going to get the same thing that's already started. The other thing is, the first thing they ask you when you go in the VA system today is, where's your Medicare card, Medicaid card? So they can get allotment that they've already gotten the money for once. They want to get it again. So they can paint the wall for $3 million in the Truman building instead of taking care of the people. This is what they're going to do with the doctors that are privately owned. As a state representative, and I know I don't have very much time left, but as a state representative, we're fighting a situation in Jefferson City, Missouri over mandatory trash. Our local government is no different than our federal government today. They think they can walk over the top of you by having the city council just whoop, and say, this is mandatory trash. Single stream recycling. Because the federal government gives them 12% more money to private-owned trash companies for single stream recycling, but yet they want everybody that's already got a quarter-yard container to have service at their door, and they're already paying 2 bills instead of 1 as a businessman. This affects everybody. Thank you.
Okay, now, I know that we may have more than one question, but really that's all the time that we've got left. We'll take one more question, sir.
I don't need the mic. I just heard that China has bought the oil from Canada, and the president wanting to have NATO control small arms or our weapons, and what can be done about that now? Anything?
Okay, I think it was actually a couple of questions. That China has bought oil from Canada, and also about the small arms treaty.
China buying the oil from Canada is between Canada and China. And there's really nothing that we can do about that. Now, this goes back to the gentleman's question about property rights and land and what the government owns and cannot own. They're telling the state of Nebraska, you can't build a pipeline. What right does the federal government, any federal agency, have telling a state that they can't do anything with their land? We need to build a pipeline. And we need, Congress has a responsibility to regulate commerce. It's one of the first 3 or 4 things that Congress is authorized to do, regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the states. Congress needs to tell the president, it's none of your business, or none of the EPA's business, or nobody else's business, it's the state of Nebraska's business. And we're telling them they can do it. Now, the UN Small Arms Treaty has to be ratified by the Senate. The Senate had better. I can't imagine they would ratify that treaty. That would just make this irrelevant, even more so than what they make it irrelevant every day. So I'm going to get on the phone and call my senators. If I was your representative, I'd walk across the hall and talk to them and say, look guys, this, not that.